everyone. Welcoming you to this latest podcast from the India Insurtech Association. Today we have with us Tarun, who's the co-founder and chief business officer of PolicyBazaar.com. And Tarun, we're here to discuss today with you more about Policy Bazaar for business. So welcome to the podcast. Tarun, I'd love to begin by getting an understanding as an overview of what Policy Bazaar for business does. What are your primary objectives in this space?
Prashant, what Policy Bazaar aims to do, whether it's retail or business or any other business that we enter into, we want to democratize not insurance but insurance advice. A lot of times I hear a lot of compliments that say you've democratized insurance. We haven't. Because a lot of people, they prefer buying, some people prefer buying on the net, some people prefer buying through a call center agent, some people prefer buying through a field and street. But what are we doing? What is Policies are doing? We offer all of these. So we're not just an online company, or we're just not a tele company, and we're obviously not a company which sends a lot of people home. We are a mix of these. So all that we are trying to do is democratizing the kind of information that is required to make a purchase of any product in insurance, be it a retail product like health, term, or car insurance, or or for businesses to be able to sell indemnity, liability, property, marine, engineering, fire, whatever it is, right? And how do we do that? Is by going through those products, becoming experts ourselves, and then taking the same subject matter and being able to relay it in simpler but and yet very exact way. When today there's a 22-year-old who's able to speak to Prashant for his company and be able to guide you on what he should buy for his office insurance,
Right.
or somebody who comes with very basic education, learning to us in a way where they understand themselves and they give the right advice to the consumer who's coming in to buy a liability policy. See, these people, and it's actually being done any which ways. So when you, let's say, approach an insurance company and they send somebody over, they may be a few years old. For example, in engineering insurance, we don't have engineers, not with us, not with the insurance company. So how what we do? We just take a set of experts who've been on the engineering side, who've been on the P&L side, who've done, let's say, the MBAs. We make sure that these become the subject matter experts, and through them, we are dispensing information which makes it very easy for consumers to understand. So that's the aim of Policy Bazaar for Business. I think what we want to do is take such allegedly complex products, simplify them, and make them available for any user who wants to buy them.
Okay, that's fantastic. I think you've done that with retail, you're doing it with business. But I'm curious to know what are the key trends you're seeing in the business insurance space across the country?
See, that's the part that actually gets us into why we ever got onto the business side. Like people have appreciate versions. We also had this thought which said that business insurance can't be sold online. And
Okay.
yet, all we did on our website many years back was we put a small logo which said, "Do you want to buy business insurance?" Just a logo. And people started coming in and inquiring. And then they started inquiring on these specific products like, which is workman's compensation, marine, liability, professional indemnity. And then we started expanding on these pieces. And when you say trends, what I'm realizing is that more and more people are recognizing the importance of having these insurance products. Let's say only about 5 years ago, the insurance, especially on the business side, was bought purely because of contractual reasons. So it
Right.
meant that I'm an IT company, I have a contract with a US company which is outsourced to me, and the contract dictates that I should have A, B, or C policy, and that's why I will go ahead and buy it. But today, what is happening is, and of course, there's a huge environment change where India is becoming a little more litigious. So people are a little more worried about what's going to happen in terms of liability to the business that they're doing or the advice that they're giving. So I see India waking up to the fact that all the risks that are outlined in an insurance product are real, and it makes a lot more sense for them to protect themselves against these risks that we talk about. So this, maybe it's education, maybe it's a kind of set of people who are coming in, maybe it's about reading the newspapers and realizing that all this is happening. I'm saying India waking up to all these products that, being from the industry, I think is very important, but even from outside the industry, they're seeing the real use for insurance.
Got it. And do you think digital transformation is also changing the business approach from your side as well as from the customer side?
I sincerely hope so, because that's the one USP we bring to the table. But what is digitization? Like I said in the first answer, it is democratization of information, right? So
Correct.
now, can we, through a digital medium, be able to give the same accuracy and understanding of a particular product that a person can do sitting in front of you? That is our largest challenge, and that's what we're trying to accomplish. And I think digitization is able to do that in a lot of ways. For example, if you look at why is workman's compensation a huge success at Policy Bazaar, is because they're very small policies. A guy who's just starting contract needs it. He needs it in a few hours. He's
Correct.
able to come online, purchase, and then go. And think the same guy who also now has to liaise with somebody, try and get the policy, give all the information. It's too painful. So digitizing that process has actually yielded into one product which was predominantly sold offline till not 2 years
Yeah.
ago, is almost considered to be an online product today. I know it's less heard of, especially because we tend to hear more about retail, but that's the reality of workers' compensation. And I think that if Policy Bazaar is able to succeed in this endeavor to digitize more and more products, make them simpler, we would succeed more and more in these products. And maybe there are some risks that will never be online. I don't think that a huge electric power
Right.
plant will ever be able to come online and buy for themselves, because there may be a lot of risks which may be very specific in nature. In all businesses across the world, you've got something which is very mass and something very niche. I don't think that commercial lines business is niche. I think there are some parts of commercial lines business which will remain niche for the next few years, but the remaining part we will keep making that en masse we understand it.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I'm very surprised to know that working compensation is something that you guys have already created a digital product out of. I'd love to know about the other products as well. So you spoke about the other ones in the commercial space. Are you able to create tailored insurance solutions to meet specific needs of different businesses? How are you packaging it or how are you distributing it to other customers?
Yeah, your answer is in your question. We're packaging it, and that's all we're doing. See, when somebody
Okay.
comes in and says that I want to buy office package insurance, it's just a combination of fire, marine, you see, a little bit of health, and we put it together and we put it as an office package insurance. The same thing is with shop insurance. So all we're doing is, depending on a little bit of customization on what you sell or what your office does, is the only little tarka that we ask for. We are dishing out the same product. And when I say same product, because the risk is exactly the same, except that if, let's say, within the office space that you have, you're doing something which is a little higher risk, then let's say the fire component of that product would be high. So what we have
Yeah.
is a set of jars of each insurance company, of each insurance
Okay.
product, I'm sorry.
Correct.
And you might have a larger jar in fire for a particular set of risks, or you may have a larger jar in case of the group health, because if you are very employee centric
Correct.
and so that customization is already happening. And I think being able to dish out these products because of the modularity of the platform is
Yeah.
what will hopefully yield a better buying environment for any and every business user.
Yeah, that's really interesting. While you're dishing out all of these products and creating the tech for it, I'd love to know your take on the regulatory landscape for a minute. What impact are you seeing the regulator and the regulatory updates having on the business, especially on the corporate insurance side?
See, right now, the regulator and the steps they're taking seem like a dream come true for someone like Policy Bazaar for business. Because what they're doing is they are de-tariffing the products, they are making them available on use and file, and all those are they're basically music to your ears. Because essentially what we're able to do is we're able to take the same risk, design products around it, design covers from around it, learn from some of our peers outside the country, because we have capability,
Correct.
we have capacity. So why not take these products in and build them into something which is far more useful, far more customized, and be able to deliver to customers? Because what is happening is, as awareness is coming about, different businesses are coming through. And what used to be an Excel sheet that the questionnaire you had to fill, take it to an underwriter who would understand that risk. A lot of time you undermine these things, but the underwriter had to study about the product in question. For example, when batteries came about, nobody understood it. So let's say there's a mobile shop selling those lithium-ion batteries. They had to actually understand what is the risk of having those in your shop, and that data didn't exist. So I'm saying now that these businesses are coming about and they're becoming common, and this data is readily available. Are we able to customize these products? And what the IRDA has done is they've taken the same products, given some guidelines around it, and then said, build your own product. I think they're being very progressive. And I think that it'll open up more and more. I think the insurance will have to be on their toes. Companies like ours will have to be on their toes to make sure that we are using the space available to us in the right fashion and in the interest of consumers, and not trying to do some jiggery poker here and there to earn an extra buck. I think it's now, it couldn't be a better environment, and we just have to make the right use for it.
Got it. And I'm sure that's driving innovation as well with your products, right? Maybe you can take us through a few of the innovations that are happening on the product front.
Yeah, so see, and it's very difficult to answer because when you look at business insurance, we call it one word, we call it commercial lines, it's one word. But there are many products out there, and in each innovation is happening. And I don't think I'm the resident expert on this one. But yes, what I would like to point out is all the work that's happened on business insurance around the healthcare space, right? If you look at it till about, I would say 3 years ago, it was just health insurance. So you were working in an
Yeah,
organization, you got your health cover, you go to the hospital, you get some care. But we also know from outside the industry and our retail experience that only 35% happens in health insurance. 65% of it is the need of a consumer that's happening outside of it. And in the corporate verticals, what I have seen is that we've solved for this. So today, with the main plan as a company, you're able to offer your employees on doctor on call. You're able to give them the
correct.
ability to book diagnostics. You're able to give them the ability to go to specialists. You're able to work on disease reversal programs like diabetes reversal, like
Correct.
hypertension reversal, and all of these. And I think this is really good because when an employee gets all of this, they genuinely feel very protected and very well taken care of. So there are two organizations, one which is saying that whether you come in, your parents come in, we will make sure we take care of them right from if they ever land up in anything which is to do with doctors, with medicines, with healthcare. And then the organization saying, if you end up in a hospital, we'll give you money. I think these are very good messages that you're sending to your employees. So this
Right.
innovation, not very expensive either, is actually coming forth as becoming the largest game changer on the commercial line side. Right. On the buying journeys itself is innovation for workers' compensation because suddenly from
Yeah.
contractors trying to hide something or using PDF editors is now generally buying insurance. And
Correct.
all you have to do is just build a platform around it, which I think is quite one of the simplest things to do. So I think more and more will happen. I think there is a lot to do in that space in terms of claims, especially when you look at fire claims or marine claims, which are very high frequency. I think work is
Right.
happening towards innovative solutions to A, check the claim, B, documentation, and C, the
Yeah.
payout reaching the insured very quickly.
Understood. Okay. And I'd love to know if you have any business advice for actually just general advice for business owners and decision makers of businesses now that you're targeting all of them. What advice would you have for them on choosing the right insurance policies for their companies?
What I want to say is please buy from me, but I'll give it a better answer. I'll try and say that as what, and I think it's not my advice. I think people are realizing on their own that insurance is there to make sure that you stay in shape and you stay in on the path that you set out to do. It's a very
Yeah.
small premium that you pay to make sure that the business that you've built up isn't destroyed for one small calamity, one small mistake that somebody can make. I remember this example. There was a friend of mine who had an IT company, right? And they had consumer data which was coming to them for churning, not getting in the business itself. And they made one mistake. They had one person who took the customer's data on an Excel sheet in a pen drive and sold it, and they got
Oh.
sued for it.
Oh.
And all he needed was probably if he had just bought a policy, if he had known about a policy, which only cost him about, I think, if I remember the conversation well, about 30,000 rupees, he would have got a crime policy which would have paid for the entire payout. But the eventuality was that he went bust, only paying for the claim that came from the policy. That would have come from the policy, but he had to pay on his
Yeah.
own because of the theft of data from one employee who was not trustworthy. So I think the idea is to make sure that you're woken up and you're looking at these risks intelligently. It's penny wise, pound foolish to not buy certain insurance products. And you should sit back and think about all the risks that are possible in your business. Your business is better than anybody. And hopefully reach out when you think that there is some risk which you want to mitigate, or at least make sure that you're funded for those.
Yeah. That's great advice, and that's fantastic information for all of us to know about. Tarun, I'd like to thank you for your time on the podcast today. I think we're all enriched hearing about what you guys are planning to do and how you're planning to do it. So thanks again for your time, and we look forward to more success from Policy Bazaar.
Thanks so much, Prashant, and wish you a very good year and a good day ahead.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.